What is up, Balance Fit family? Welcome into the episode. Real quick before we get started, there's a minor glitch in today's episode. Well, maybe more than a minor glitch. When you record and produce and edit and all the things a podcast single-handedly, stuff will happen. And for example, you will mute a microphone, this time, in this case, belonging to your co-host, and then forget to unmute it for about 23 minutes. So I have painstakingly gone through the first half of this episode and edited out all the dead space where Lacey was talking, and it's kind of monologue-ish, so there's no dead air or bad audio. It's just me and some weird spaces where I'm referring to her, but she's not responding. So it's about the first 23 minutes of the episode, and the rest of it is where I looked down and remembered to turn her, or saw that her mute button was on. And so for the last 35 minutes or so, it's a great conversation that you don't want to miss. Also, spoiler alert, not spoiler, how about not safe for work or kids. When I discovered that I had my co-host mic muted for half the episode, I let out a blue cursing streak that would make any sailor throughout the history of time blush, and I didn't edit it out because I thought it was hilarious. But you may want to be aware that if you got young ears, or if you just don't like foul language, at about 23 minutes for about a solid minute, it's nothing but real salty language. Other than that, really solid episode, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get to it. They do awards by age group. I am not near the bottom of these age groups. In fact, I'm in the second to the last age group. I'm in the age group right before where they go, it's here and everybody else. And you guys were giving me moral support there with me to watch me get my award up on the podium. I looked at y'all at one point. I'm like, before they started, I went, sometimes in these races, they'll mix things up and start with the older groups and work down. Hope they do that. And of course, they started with the youngins. And I'm like, man, everybody's sitting around here. And at one point, I think they were somewhere in the 40s. And Ben looked over at me and he goes, how old are you? So I hadn't been called yet, and that made me laugh. The shopping cart return. Gen Z, listen to me. There may not be a greater, finer litmus test of your character and your personality in the world than how you return the shopping cart. Your character is defined by how you act when no one is watching, and your actions can't be measured, quantified, or judged. You're not performing this move for social media.
As I've mentioned before, when I got out of CrossFit, I was up to like a huge weight, pushing a PR, and my body just went like, why are you doing this? Is there ever a point where, 50-year-old Lacey goes, I don't need to keep going for the next PR, or I don't need this percentage to go up, and where would that be?
Have you ever heard of the 3-3-3 rule when it comes to fitness and working out? I like this concept because, as I say, when it comes to your fitness, to your workouts, to your training, to your nutrition, to everything that matters to your health, make it simple enough to be repeatable, make it thoughtful enough to matter, make it sustainable enough to last. 24 hours ago, a client asked me if they could out-train a pizza habit. My answer shocked them. Want more details? Stick around. Balance Fit Radio is on.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Lift off and the clock has started.
Hey now, namaste, word 'em up, and good day, Balance Fit family, wherever you may be around the globe, and welcome to Balance Fit Radio. We're talking about strength, meaning, and the human experience right here. I'm your host, Scott Schroeder, and I'm a certified personal trainer, nutrition coach, and performance enhancement specialist right here in the steamy, sweltering upstate of South Carolina, in easily nestled between Greenville and Clemson. Balance Fit Radio is where fitness meets psychology and philosophy in everyday life. Because true wellness, what is it about? It's about more than just the body. It's about living in balance through strength, resilience, and capability. Let's get after it, shall we? Shall we? Let's get after it, shall we? That was good radio right there, buddy. Take two. Just kidding. Back in the studio with me today, Lacey Pletcher. How's it going? Also, I promised, I did a recording yesterday, and I promised everybody that they would meet this studio guest too. So also joining me in the studio is Fiona. This is Fiona. I told you all about her. This is Finley's baby sister. She'll be 10 weeks old on Tuesday, and she is a border collie. She is a tri-merle border collie, and she loves her daddy. Yes, don't you? Okay. Yes. So I promised everybody they'd get to meet Fiona. So there you are. And there you go. All right. You know, lately, I've been telling everyone about the benefits of eating dried grapes. A lot of benefits with that. Dried grapes, yeah. You know, it's all about raising awareness. Oh, let's go. Hey now. I'll be here all the week. Tip your waitresses. Hey, if you are listening or watching and you haven't subscribed, please do all the things. It helps more than you may know. We appreciate your time. We wouldn't be here without you. But whether it's on podcast and following the podcast or subscribing to the YouTube channel, any of that stuff. And also, I'm hearing that YouTube really likes the thumb now. So the old this thumb, not this thumb. So click that. It costs you nothing. It takes no effort, no time to click the like button. I will never say SMASH, the like button, because I hate that stupid crap. Smash the like button. Just click the button, please. Also, share, rate, review, do all the stuff. Those things really help grow the show. Not asking for money, not doing subscriptions or anything like that. It's just trying to get the word out, trying to get the message out, trying to share the message. So your participation and your generous donation of the time it takes for you to subscribe and follow is very much appreciated, and I'd be very grateful for that. In the warm-up today, oh, by the way, how are you? Would you like to tell everybody what happened to your face?
Yeah, so...
It's a little, your nose is a little red.
Yeah, I can...
And also, because I mentioned this on the last recording while you were absent, we've been gone for a little bit. Then we had Spartan Race Weekend, which I ran both days, and you came and spectated and cheered both days, and that was really cool. By the way, that provided one of the funniest moments I've had. I don't laugh out loud at much because I don't give my laughs away. Something needs to be funny. But I do appreciate, I love humor and I love laughing. It's not that I'm humorless. It's just, you ever meet that person that laughs at everything? It's like, or that really like, oh, somebody, everything is the funniest thing ever. That's a nervous disorder. That's overcompensation. But I love to laugh and I love humor and funny things. And I got a real big laugh. And it still makes me laugh when I think about it. When we were all standing around on Saturday at the Spartan event, and when I placed and I finished second in the AG, and that was a big deal. It's hard to do that, so I was pretty proud of that. But we were waiting. They do awards by age group, and the age groups. Well, the first age group is 16 and 17. I think, and then it's like 18 to 22 or something. I am not near the bottom of these age groups. In fact, I'm in the second to the last age group. I'm in the age group right before where they go, it's here and everybody else. I'm in, and they start at the bottom. They started at 16, 17, and I am in the 55 to 59. And we're just, and your friend Ben, who ran Saturday as well, who did great, was there, and you guys were giving me moral support there with me to watch me get my award up on the podium. I looked at y'all at one point. I'm like, before they started, I went, sometimes in these races, they'll mix things up and start with the older groups and work down. Hope they do that. And of course, they started with the youngins, and it was, it was 5 years at a time, men and women, all the way up, starting at age 16, all the way up to 60 plus. And I'm like, man, everybody's sitting around here. And at one point, I think they were at somewhere in the 40s. And Ben looked over at me and he goes, "How old are you?" So I hadn't been called yet. And that made me laugh. He just looked at me. It's like sticking a head around the line, down the line. He's like, "How old are you?" That was phenomenal. Yeah. So we had that. And then we had you did some stuff out of town. You went to New York again, right? You did something else. And you didn't die at either one of those places, but you got headbutted by a giant dog and you got poison ivy. So once again, I'm just forced to ask, why does the universe hate you? But you also, you are super hot or ice cold. It seems like. I don't feel like there's any middle ground with you. You're either like rolling dice like no one's ever rolled dice before, metaphorically speaking, and just shutting down the house, winning all their money, or you're getting sepsis and nearly dying. But anyway, so glad to be back, kind of getting all things going. So, by the way, that cold opening, I just made that shit up. I had no one asked me about outrunning a pizza habit.
I thought you were opening with a joke, and I was like,
right. I threw that in there because I thought it would be ridiculous and silly and it would get your attention. And my sister-in-law and my nieces are here, and that kind of cut into my show prep time. So I'm over here going, all right, what can I put into this cold opening? So, yeah, we will not be talking about a client unless you want to act like you want to role play as the client who can't outrun a pizza habit. Right? How much pizza are we talking about? Are we talking about like meat lovers? Are we talking about you just got all of it? Sicilian, Detroit style, Chicago deep dish. What are we going with here? You got a dealer? You got a guy?
Papa John.
But anyway, I saw in the warm up today, I thought I would throw this in there. I was just doing research and collecting data, doing things, just general fitness things that I tend to do. My digital consumption just kind of revolves around nutrition, fitness, wellness, all that kind of stuff, as you would hope, and border collies. But I came across this thing. I don't know how it got put. Oh, it was a Gen X meme, and I should have put the picture up here because I screenshot it. But the graphic was, people ask me why I'm so crazy or why I am the way I am or something like that. Like, this was my childhood, and it was 4 pictures on there, and it was Sam Kinison, Andrew Dice Clay, Eddie Murphy, and George Carlin. And it made me think about that era, particularly of not just pop culture with movies, music, comedy, everything, but specifically because it was those 4 comedians, how free and fun comedy was, stand-up comedy was then, and yeah, there's a lot of like Sam Kinison and Andrew Dice Clay in particular are super offensive, but that's what comedy used to be. And if you go back to the days of guys like Lenny Bruce, I mean, Lenny Bruce was so far outside the Overton window for his day. And you probably ask all these guys and they will give a nod to Lenny Bruce and how the doors that he opened for them. His thing was kind of cultural political. It wasn't really anything like sexual or, risque or anything like that. But Sam Kinison and Dice Clay in particular, and Eddie Murphy and George Carlin. And I watched and listened to all these guys, but one of my favorites that wasn't listed on that thing was also Richard Pryor. Just the king as far as I'm concerned. Stand-up comedy is making a bit of a resurgence. You talk about offensive for today, and Yeah, nobody like Andrew Dice Clay would not have existed today, but stand-up comedy is coming back around from its really dead days of the last 10, 15 years. We used to love putting on Comedy Central and just watching the stand-up. These people we'd never seen before, and there was genuinely funny people on there. And to me, I mean, storytelling, if you're a storytelling comedian as opposed to like kind of just a one-liner, like Nate Bargatze is a storyteller. And guess what? He's the biggest comedian in the world right now. People love storytelling, and there's nothing wrong with a comedian who their milieu is what you would consider offensive. You know, foul language, sexual jokes, things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's part of it. But you don't have to do that, or you don't have to do any particular thing. But the thing that people are attracted to most, regardless of what your approach is good storytelling. And that's what he does with that. Yeah, and if you're aging properly, you should get less and less offended as you get older. Those people that get more and more offended as they get older, bless their hearts, they're having some struggles. I don't know where I found these tapes of these Richard Pryor. I have no idea where I got these things, but I would listen to them. And Richard Pryor was not vulgar. He used really salty language, but it was in context. And it was in context of his culture. And it wasn't, because of that, it wasn't offensive unless you were just offended by the F word 900 times in a show. But, and we just watched. Have you ever seen Harlem Nights? Have you ever heard of Harlem Nights? Oh, my God. We just watched it again the other night, and it holds up. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's a comedy set in Harlem, New York in the 1920s, Prohibition time. And it's got Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Red Fox, Della Reese. I'm forgetting a bunch of people that are in it, but there's like probably 20 people in this movie that you would know. Okay. And it's just an all-star. And the story's actually pretty good. It's just about shenanigans going on with Prohibition and gangsters and all that kind of stuff. And I think you'd like it. If you like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Red Fox style comedy, Della Reese, all that kind of stuff, you would enjoy that. But we watched it again the other night. I've seen it probably 20 times, and it holds up. Who was the biggest comedian when you were kind of like really sort of coming into your own as like a teenager, a young adult?
Stand up or
yeah, stand up. Well, I mean, what the broad. I was gonna say, and what happened to that dude? He was the biggest thing in the world forever. Like playing shows in the round. I think he was probably a little too niche. Not his storytelling, but his style. I think his style was a little too niche, and it didn't play for too long. But yeah, he took over the world for a while. All right, in the Zeitgeist Gen Z segment, let me ask you a question. This informs the main body of this because of where it takes place. And it makes me think of this every time. And it's a litmus test under a litmus test. So the question is, what is your number one criteria? What is the thing, the tier one, number one, 1A thing that you look for when parking? Shade. Shade is the proper answer. There is no other answer. Now, look, if you live in Minnesota in the winter, you probably don't want to park in the shade. But shade is so rare in parking lots. And it's 1,000,000 degrees here. And even when it's not 1,000,000 degrees, it's still 1,000,000 degrees. I have 2 sets of window shades for the entirety, all of my windows. We have a Nissan Murano that has a hatchback. And so I have custom shades that fit the windshield, the 4 side windows, and the back hatch window. And I have magnetized curtains, sun curtains that hang up over those, because I'm not dealing with it. I will take the extra 10 seconds to put the shades up around my car to not get back into a 10,000 degree automobile and not be able to touch my steering wheel and all that. But just in general, yes, shade. I always ask people that, hey, what's the thing? Because you see people in parking lots that they will just sit there or they will drive around forever. But they're going to sit right. You could have parked
and walked in by now.
And been in by now and had to have. You could have gotten 30 extra steps in your day. But no, you were going to sit there and wait on that one spot, 4 spots up. And also, when I went to Sam's the other day, I have a normal spot that's way at the end, which I got from my mother. My mother taught me, park at the end of the lot because your car won't get dinged. Nobody parks out here. But I also park next to a cart corral, so I can just push my cart back in there. All right, hang with me, Gen Z. I'm leading up to something here. I parked in my usual spot next to the cart corral, put all my shades up, got out, started walking, and I got about 10 spaces down, and there was an empty spot in the shade. I got back in my car, took all the shades down, drove back, and parked in that shady spot. Not because it was closer, but because it was shady. But anyway, so that made me think of this in parking lots, and particularly at Sam's, the shopping cart return. Gen Z, listen to me. There may not be a greater, finer litmus test of your character and your personality in the world than how you return a shopping cart. And if you return it. And you know what? I was going to say, because it's actually gotten weird, because people used to be just jackasses and just leave the cart, just like push it up onto the little island there, or just leave it in the space next to them, which is, there's no other way to term that other than that's just asshole behavior. That's just asshole behavior, because you were selfish and lazy and entitled and an asshole. But I actually don't see that very much anymore. But what I do see, which breaks my brain, is I will watch somebody push the shopping cart all the way across the parking lot to the corral and then just shove it in there. So like maybe it doesn't even go in all the way, or now you've got 5 carts that are all sideways like this. And so now nobody can get their cart in there anymore. So I'm the guy that walks. I don't say things to people about this because, quite honestly, it's not my job to parent you. And it's just going to cause a fight, and there's no point in that. And it's not going to help anyway. No one's going to learn anything anyway. So I'm the guy that goes in and grabs the carts and shoves them all together, and I don't do it for recognition. I don't do it to moralize to people. I just do it because it's the right thing. And because of the guy you talked about, or the girl you talked about who works there, who it's 110 degrees out on that blacktop, and they're roaming all over creation, and they have to push all the things together. So I'm like, maybe I can make their life just a little bit easier. And actually, one of the cart attendants saw me doing it one time and walked up, had the biggest smile on his face. He's like, "You're the OG, my man. You are my favorite person ever." I'm like, "Hey, man, just trying to be a decent human." But take the extra, literally 5, maybe 10 seconds to push your cart, to not just take it back to the corral, but to put it in the corral and then push it in, marry it up like a pair of socks or whatever you want to say with the next cart, push it in there and walk away. The reason I bring this up, and I bring this up in the Gen Z segment, is because of what it says about character. And it's little wonder that we've disintegrated as a culture, because we've been told, and I remember this explicitly, we've been told since Monica Lewinsky was a headline that character doesn't matter. The truth is pretty much character is all you have that means anything real. Your character is defined by how you act when no one is watching, and your actions can't be measured, quantified, or judged. So you're not performing this. You're not performing this move for social media. or for anybody that may be near you. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do, and that's what your character is. And you don't build character by turning on, like I said, you're not doing this for social media. You don't build character by turning on your little front-facing camera and vomiting your stupid, unrefined emotional takes into the atmosphere, which I cannot believe this. Gen Z, stop posting on TikTok about everything that annoys you. Just stop, because it looks real bad. When you're posting, when you're in your car and you're got your $1,000 phone and holding your $8 latte and you're bitching about how bad America is and you can't afford things and you're posting it on your social media, please stop doing that. But anyway, yeah, you don't build character by doing that. You don't go film yourself pushing the shopping cart back in and then hashtagging and doing all that kind of stuff. You build character by allowing your inner moral compass to be heard. That thing inside of you that you keep ignoring that says, don't do this. This isn't the right thing to do. I fear that maybe we've deadened that too much, but it's still there. The spark is still there. You listen to that inner moral compass and let it be heard, and do the right things as many times as you can, because you should, not because you're performing virtue to the counterfeit reality of electronic media. So put the dirty dishes away, smile at people on the street. That's another thing. Why are we hiding and scowling at people? Jesus, you know what? Millennials are responsible for that. Millennials are responsible for the whole head down, I'm not talking to anybody thing. And listen, we're not casting aspersions and casting blame because everybody's had their struggles. But anyway, so yeah, smile at people on the street. Walk away from your phone frequently. Just put it down and walk away from it. Pay attention when you're driving and put the damn shopping cart away properly. Now, are any of these things going to change the world? Yes. Why? How is this going to change the world? Doing better things makes you a better person. You being a better person makes the world slightly less sucky. And that's how it's going to change the world. All right. That's what I got for you guys. You're welcome, Gen Z. I hope you're taking notes and writing stuff down. All right. In the heart of the matter, you texted me yesterday and said, what the hell are we talking about? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't done any show prep. Sorry. I have a whole list of things on here as we go through each episode that can be talked about. But you said, I have a thing to talk about. I'm like, all right, lay it on me. So lay it on me.
Okay. I wanted to... And whatnot. And I remember we started out with the bar, and now I'm up to
like... hear something stupid? Infuriating?
What?
I have had your mic muted this entire time.
Oh, no. Can you pick me up on that mic?
It's awful. Yeah, you can hear you echoey in the background. But anyway, so what we're going to do... Goddamn son of a whore. All right, so anyway, motherfucking son of a fucking whore.
I was going to say, with the time on The Simpsons when they tell Bart he can cuss and like the string of things he puts together. God, shit, damn, fuck.
Filthy fucking cocksucking son of a fucking whore. You goddamn motherfucking piece of shit, motherfucker.
You told me to shut my pirate hooker mouth during your intro. Did you mute me during your intro just in case, and then you forgot to take me off?
No.
Okay.
Actually, yes.
Then that's on you.
That is on me. I did do that. That is a thing that I did.
When you're filming on this camera, does it have sound?
No, the sound's going through.
Oh, only the mic. Okay.
Anyway, so we're going to start. Let me go back to here. So you texted me the other day. Yesterday, and you're like, what are we talking about? And I was like, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I haven't done my show prep. I've been busy. Sorry. Terrible podcast host. And you go, oh, well, I have a thing to talk about.
Yeah.
So
what is it?
What's your thing?
All right. Well, we were talking about how my progress, or you just said, my progress had been a little slow. I've had some setbacks and I've been traveling and all of that. But I told you I had a great week. I don't think it's actually been that slow. I feel really strong. And then we kind of looked back at my bench press numbers at where I started in July. And this was, 4 or 5 weeks later. And I train 3 days a week. And like last week, I missed twice for traveling in poison ivy. So I feel like I'm having a lot of progress. And my point to this was, when we talk about weight loss, I just feel like it's common knowledge that 1 pound a week is what you should go for. 2 pounds is actually really aggressive. So, 8 pounds in a month would be huge. So as I am upping my weights and things for my gains. Thank you. What is reasonable for somebody to expect? And, obviously talking percentage wise in this case, to go up over time. And I know if you're training 4 days a week, 5 days a week, it probably kind of all, but is there kind of a rule of thumb or a range that you should be looking for as you're going up in weights? And then, as I've mentioned before, when I got out of CrossFit, I was up to like a huge weight, pushing a PR, and my body just went like, why are you doing this? Is there ever a point where, 50-year-old Lacey goes, I don't need to lift, I don't need to keep going for the next PR, or I don't need this percentage to go up? And where would that be?
Yeah, it's two very excellent questions and excellent points. And let me just hit that second part real quick, and then we'll come back to it. Yes, there is a point where it makes 0 sense for you to be lifting super heavy.
I mean, obviously, if I lifted every day for the rest of my life, it's not like I'm going to lift 1,000 pounds, but there is going to be a point where I tap out, and there is going to be a point where it's much more injury risk, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, obviously. Soft tissue breaks down, bones get brittle, things like that. These things that we try to fight with age. You just slid off the camera frame.
Oh, sorry.
These things that we try to fight with physical training, with lifting weights, keeping our cardiorespiratory fitness up, keeping our balance, proprioception, keeping our stability on point. Those things are what is pushing the dragon back, the age dragon back, but time is undefeated. Now we have a bunch, this is a tangent. I'm going to get on a tangent.
Okay.
We have a bunch of these quasi-autistic, psychopathic tech jackasses that are telling us that how wonderful AI is and all this kind of stuff. And the truth is that these people hate people. Well, they're also the ones that are pushing for, anytime you hear somebody talking about, we're going to invent this technology that's going to enable people to live for 165 years comfortably. And
no, thanks.
Just like, shut up, man. But we're engineering the humanity out of humans. Theoretically, would it be wonderful to live forever? Let's put it the other way. Would it be wonderful to not die?
No.
Well, yeah.
No.
But
because
no, I'm going to get to no.
I was gonna
but
say,
I'm saying theoretically, would it be good to not die? Yeah, I know. I don't want to outlive my wife. I don't want my dogs to die.
Yeah.
I want everybody to live forever.
I know.
But that's selfish. That's for me.
Yeah.
Because I love them and I want them in my life. But on the other hand, in reality, dude, I'm tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot imagine
getting up and doing, like, what would retirement age be then? Like, I can't imagine getting up and rinsing, repeating.
There's so many societal things at play with this. Like, if you live to 150 years old, and I don't know, you're telling me you can reverse aging so that I can work for population so that I don't want to work for 150 years.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sit around and do art. You can use AI is going to do the things, and you can use your time to paint and to travel. I'm like, yeah. Ugh. At some point, though, the bottom line is with that, and I'm going to get back on the road that I need to be on here in a second, but it's related. That the human experience is limited.
It is what it is because it's limited.
Yeah, and to think that first of all, to be so arrogant, so unbelievably arrogant to think that you can do this or that you should do this because you want to live forever. These people, they don't give a shit about anybody else. They're the ones that are trying to live on Mars and building their bunkers.
Yeah, because they need more time to spend their billions, Scott.
Argentina and whatnot. These are the people who are talking about this whole living forever thing. But the human experience can't be that way, and it shouldn't be that way. And if you have any sort of spirituality within you at all, whether it's deity-based or not, any kind of spirituality within you at all, you probably don't really want to live here forever.
There's a song I love about this, and it's called "If We Were Vampires." If we were vampires and death was a joke, and it talks all about this. Like, would it be as special? Would the time we're spending right now be as special?
So anyway, to veer back onto the road.
Yep.
So time is undefeated. No, we don't want to live forever. So yes, there are certain realities that we face, and we can do things about them to mitigate circumstances by eating healthier, not doing stupid things like smoking and drinking, particularly as we get older, and making sure we get our exercise and keeping our cardiovascular system healthy, fighting atherosclerosis and things like that. But more to your point of, is there a point when 50-year-old Lacey, whenever that happens, decades in the future, should stop chasing gains? That's every time I hear something about that. It's like, if you're not gaining, you're not doing anything. It's like, dude, I'm 57 years old. At some point, I don't need to be hitting gains. Yeah. I need to be staying healthy.
Wait, how old are you?
How old are you?
How old are you?
I don't need to be chasing maxes and gains. I need to be pushing myself.
Sure.
And I know how to do that. I know how to manage that aspect of my fitness. But let me get back to the point at hand. The first part of your question is or your statement question, wondering, musing.
Yeah, rule of thumb range of how much should I be progressing?
Yeah, what should you be looking at as far as your progression? Now, you're not a beginner, but you are also not a spring chicken, nor are you, and you have had a lot of setbacks. So sometimes it can feel like you're in a beginning stage, but you're not a beginning lifter. You're not you're not beginning in the world of fitness at all the way back to your equestrian stuff.
Right.
So for you in particular, or let's say more broadly, a beginner with compound lifts like bench press, squats, deadlifts, things like that. Those are your fundamental compound lifts that everybody should be doing. Let's say bench press. A beginner male, and the beginning stage is about a year long. You should probably be able to add, if you are working hard, you're getting the mechanical tension and the force that you need. You're growing your muscles as needed. You should probably be looking at maybe pound a week to 5 pounds a week, depending on your genetics and how you're doing, your diet and all that kind of stuff, as far as increase on your bench press at the beginning for a beginner.
And that's regardless of
newbie gains are the best kind of gains.
They happen quick. And that's regardless of if I'm starting with a 20-pound bar or a 60-pound bar?
Yeah, you should. And that's
still 1 to 2 pounds?
20.
Or what did you just say?
Well,
sorry.
Yeah. So, if you were a new client and you were a beginner and you never lifted weights before, I'm going to do all kinds of things to figure out what your baselines are.
Okay.
We're starting
so
there.
We're starting from them.
Can you lie down on this flat bench and bench press this 45-pound bar? So let's figure out where we're at there. But yeah, you should be looking at something like 1 to 5 pounds on a bench press, for example, of gains per week. For that first year, because like we say, newbie gains are the best kind of gains. They're the easiest gains to get if you're training right, particularly if you're young. If you are just joining the fitness or, let's say, resistance training, weight training world, strength training world later in life, you're not going to get those gains like that. You're still going to get good newbie gains because if you're coming from zero.
Yeah.
Because your body's looking to grow lean muscle mass. But if you are an older client, you're in your late 30s to late 40s, something like that. And obviously, gender is going to play a role. Men and women are going to be able to lift different kinds of weights. For you, you're coming in experienced. You know how to lift. Your form is good. You have a foundation. Your neuromuscular pathways don't take a lot to reopen. If you have a situation like you did with your illness and we have to take a couple of weeks off, it doesn't take much to flip that switch. You don't have to learn that stuff.
Right.
So, and that's why we looked at those big gains you had coming back from when I started pushing you again, because we got your toes back in the water real slowly.
Yep.
And then I started hammering you pretty good.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, your rep ranges and your weights went way up real fast. So at this point, and your schedule's so messed up. So I'm trying to figure out whether I'm
don't
addressing
talk about
you.
Me.
Okay.
Don't talk about me. We can talk about me on the side.
So let's just say, let's clone you, and let's say that you clone Lacey doesn't travel and doesn't do all the things,
and
that she's
I'm working
here
out
3 days a week and doing
yeah.
all the things. Then at your age, your size, your workload, your gender, all the things. I mean, as far as bench press goes, compound lifts with bench press, I really wouldn't expect, if I were to see a 5-pound gain in your bench press over 3 weeks, I'd be real happy with that.
That would be
real happy
huge,
with
right?
that. You asked about this earlier off mic. You just kind of mentioned about bench pressing your body weight, and you're like, I don't even know if I really want to do that, but that's a good benchmark to have.
Okay.
So at a person at your age, your fitness level, all of those things, your gender, that's a good benchmark.
And
so,
that's a huge motivation to get on my diet a little bit more.
If you can, if you can bench press your body weight in your mid 40s, you're doing well.
Yeah,
look
at my little potato. Look at my little potato.
If you're a male, you need to be doing a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Probably a baseline, about 75% of your body weight is considered good for a female in your age bracket. If you're a male, and you're not bench pressing your body weight, we got to do some work.
Yeah.
Because that strength is very important to you. It has nothing to do with the gym. It has everything to do with your capability as a human.
Well, and two, I'm just thinking as you're speaking here, that also helps me, and I've got you to guide me. But if I've bought something online or like whatever, and I'm not seeing this going up, that's another way for me to think I need to push myself harder, or I need to be trying harder weight, or I need to be doing something more. Because if you're just going in and you're lifting the same 20-pound weights every week in, week out, and running the same 5 miles, I mean, still good for you. You're doing so much more than a lot of people, but you should be seeing some progress.
Yeah, there's a line for that too, and it's something like, if you're lifting the same weights without any gains for a significant period of time. Or like you said, if you're running the same 5 miles and your time is not improving, your heart rate recovery isn't improving, all that kind of stuff, then you're not working out, you're not training, you're exercising.
Yeah.
So if you're getting in the gym and you're lifting those 10-pound dumbbells, you're doing some curls and some presses and some whatever, and that's what you're doing, you're not training, you're exercising.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a goal of being the strongest that you can be within your body, not trying to chase the gains constantly, but you're just a normal human. You want to be fit, you want to be capable, you want to be well, you want to look good, you want to be healthy, you want to do all the things, then you need to be working harder.
Yeah.
Because like you were alluding to, and the line goes, if you're still doing the same workout 3, 4, 5, 6 months, then you're not training, you're exercising.
Yeah.
And exercising is fine. It just depends on your goals. So for you, when I got really excited when I started looking back on your past workouts and seeing how the numbers jumped so significantly, because I was really concerned about you coming in off that health scare. But we need to get your schedule re-regulated again, because you're kind of like,
yep. Well, it should. Aside from this week, and we'll make up Thursday on Friday.
Yep. But the bottom line is progressive overload. If you are 70, you should still be looking at progressive overload, but that doesn't mean that in a year you're going to add 60 pounds to your squat.
Yeah.
That's unrealistic.
Right.
you should be, and progressive overload is not necessarily just weight. It's also reps, sets, workload, intensity and volume. So if you are in a physiological state that constantly adding weight is not realistic, then adding sets and reps can be. And you can drop weight. If 12 reps at lower weight is going to give you good mechanical tension, good intensity and workload, volume, you're fine.
Yeah.
Unless you're a bodybuilder. And we all know how I feel about bodybuilders. I don't have any use for that. But like I said, this is in context of regular people doing regular things that want to get stronger. But I think that everybody, and I train all you guys to this, I want everybody cross-trained. My training leans towards what you would need to do to run a Spartan race.
I was going to say zombie apocalypse.
Exactly. I want you to be able to escape the zombies when they attack. So I want you to be lean, strong, fit, agile, have good balance, good stability, good mobility, because mobility equals survivability. And that's how we train. So, but we will always do the core foundational compound lifts and the fundamental human movement patterns. We will always do those, and we will do the additional stuff once we're done with those.
The border collie, I said herding ball that you poke with your head.
Yes. I did a thing about some of the silly stuff that I come up with that bodybuilders would hate. And one of the reasons I love them is because bodybuilders would hate them. It's like, how is this going to grow my glutes? It's not supposed to grow your glutes. Not everything is about growing your glutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We do that, don't we? We squat.
Yeah.
We deadlift. We do Bulgarian split squats, don't we? You love those. We do calf raises. We do bench presses. We do deadlifts. We do all the compound movements, but we're not in there just toiling for no reason.
Yeah.
All right. So did I, and is there going to come a time, I think I sort of answered that too. Is there going to come a time when 50-year-old Lacey,
doesn't need to keep going up in weight.
Off a little bit.
Doesn't need to keep going up in weight.
Yes, absolutely. You have got to protect your joints and your soft tissue. Now, the best way to do that is to be strong. But being strong doesn't constantly mean adding weight and adding weight and adding weight and chasing PRs and doing all that kind of stuff. You got to be realistic within your fitness and make it work for you.
Yeah. It just to me, it's so easy. Like, hey, is my diet working? I get on the scale. Or, hey, my pants are looser. But hey, is my workout plan working? I have no idea, right? Most people don't. You wouldn't. It's just not as easy to see or measure. So that's why I thought it'd be good to talk about it.
Yeah, and having a trainer who is having a good trainer who is going to track that stuff for you and hold you accountable and be able to pull the workout up in the gym and go, hey, look, this is what you're doing right now. This is what you did 3 weeks ago. That's awesome. Or we need to be working on this a little bit more. And if you are not in a position to hire a trainer, write it down.
Yep.
Take a little journal with you. And yes, no, I don't want you sitting there on your phone making your notes in your notes app in the gym. I want you to write it down.
Yeah.
I want you to go analog, old school, and take a pen or a pencil and a little journal or something and write it down.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you can track it. Otherwise, you're not training, you're exercising, and you have no idea what's because everybody knows what their bench max is, but how'd you get there? And why are you stuck at a plateau?
Yeah.
Are you training properly? Are you keeping track of your volume and intensity, your weight, your reps, your sets? Are you making those adjustments as needed? Are you getting to within a rep or two of failure truly? That's another big thing too, because a lot of people, very few people these days in the mainstream world of fitness outside of like the Gold's Gym type world, more like the Planet Fitness world, or even me, when I'm out working out in my own gym, I don't have a spotter. So I don't really do a lot of max stuff.
Yeah.
Now, every now and then I'll want to test something, so I'll go get Meredith. I'm like, hey, can you come out? I'm doing a bench max. I need you. And she's like back there with herself. What do you want me to do? How do I do this?
Yeah.
I'm like, just stand there and don't let me get squished.
Yeah.
Don't touch the bar unless I'm getting squished. So it can be difficult and most people train alone.
Yeah.
So it can be difficult for you to really understand if you are going to failure or to within 1 or 2 reps of failure. Are you truly there? Because most people kind of they underestimate what they're doing and overestimate the intensity of what they're doing.
Yeah.
All right. I came across a little something recently. I asked you this before and you hadn't, but have you ever heard of the 3-3-3 rule when it comes to fitness and working out? I hadn't either until a few weeks ago when I wrote this down. It's actually more, it's not just one thing. It's sort of an umbrella.
Sounds like it's 3 of them. But come on, I'm here all day,
people.
people.
A lot of 3s of a lot of different things. It's kind of an umbrella thing. And I like this concept because as I say, and I want to make sure I get back up here and I say it right, when it comes to your fitness, to your workouts, to your training, to your nutrition, to everything that matters to your health, make it simple enough to be repeatable, make it thoughtful enough to matter, make it sustainable enough to last. Train consistently, maintain a healthy body composition, eat a nutrient-dense diet, do those things. So this workout, I think, actually falls in with that. Now, once again, if you're a serious lifter, this may not mean that much to you, but if you're a normal human and this can help you track, like it can sort of help you categorize things by saying 3-3-3.
Okay.
I think it's really cool. And it's a simplified gym routine consisting of 3 workouts a week with 3 key movements per session and 3 sets of each of those. But as I dug into it a little bit more, what I discovered was it's a little bit deeper than that. So there's the macro, consider the big picture of this, which would be 3 strength days,
Okay.
3 cardio days, and 3 active recovery days.
Okay.
So that's the macro over that. And so that'll give you 3 strength days where you can focus on building muscle, whatever it is you got going, whether it's body weights, whether it's weight training, resistance bands, whatever you got going, you're working on building lean muscle mass. And then your cardio days are cardio days. They're working on your cardiorespiratory fitness, whether it's like zone 2 walking or interval running or whatever it is, elliptical, whatever it is that you're doing. And then 3 active recovery days. So yoga, light walking,
Pickleballing.
No, actually, no.
No?
No.
Oh, that's what I've been
Pickleball
doing.
is too.
Well, how we play
Okay,
is an
fair enough.
active rest.
Listen, if you're just standing there and you're not really running around and you're just kind of batting the ball or whatever it is around, okay, fine. But
We
actually,
move.
if you're doing any kind of intense movement, that's not active recovery. Particularly if like you're just coming off a lower leg day and now you're doing a bunch of running around on a pickleball court. That is not recovery.
Oh yeah, no, we play like old people, and except the other day my competitiveness came out, and I did run back and forth across the court 4 times, and then I was like, "All right, that's it. You saw it. I'm dead. No more."
And also, you might notice that within a week,
Yeah, there seems to be 9 there, Scott.
there's 9 workouts there,
Maths.
so these things will overlap,
Okay.
and that's okay. But the important part is that when you combine combining cardio and workout days, and a lot of people will say that, like that's a big thing, is how do I do cardio and resistance training at the same time without losing my well, you need to separate them or do your cardio after you're lifting.
Yep.
That's just kind of the rule of thumb. So like maybe you can get your run or your walk in the morning and then your workouts at 4:00 in the afternoon. That's fine. Your system has reset. You've had enough chance to put the nutrients back in and get your glycogen stores back up. But if you go do a run and then you try to do some focused, intense lifting, you're not going to be able to get the proper work in.
Right.
So, having a day that has both your cardio and your strength training, make sure that you're strategic with that. But the alternative 3-3-3 workout format, which would be more of a micro focus, this is within a workout. So this is not your week. It is 3 circuits per workout with 3 exercises in each circuit and 3 sets for each exercise. Now, what I would is the macro split, the micro structure. So the 3 circuits, the entire workout is divided into 3 distinct blocks. And, use the word circuit. People are going to balk. Yeah. People are going to holler about using the word circuit, but whatever.
It's just a routine, whatever it is, whatever you're doing.
Whatever your thing is. And it's 3 exercise, non-competing movements. So let's make sure. So in this structure, you're not doing, your 3 movements aren't going to be flat bench, incline, flat bench, barbell, incline, dumbbell bench, and
like
skull crushers or flies. Okay. Yeah. It's not going to be that. It's going to be 3 non-competing movements. And so you could do some, either go real hard in the paint and do 3 big compound moves like bench, squat, deadlift, or you could go something more like upper or lower kind of thing. So you go bench, curls,
overhead press,
something like that. But you do 3 exercises and 3 sets. And I like it. I like that. That's plenty of work.
It's the KISS theory. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, that's plenty of work. As long as you're working out with the proper intensity and the proper weights and the proper number of reps in those sets, which you're going to need to figure out or hire a trainer. But I like it. And you also there's a third protocol with this, and it's the neural protocol. So this is where we're going to heavily tax the central nervous system. So you see where I'm going here. This is powerlifting. This is strength. Well, strength and or powerlifting. So the 3-3 in that refers to low volume, high intensity and rep scheme. So you're going to do 3 compound lifts, squat, bench press, deadlift, 3 working sets, still the same there, but they're heavy. 3 heavy working sets per lift and 3 reps.
Yep. That makes sense.
Because you're going 85 to 90% of your 1 rep max. And along with that, you need to make sure that you're getting proper rest. So if you're going heavy like that, then the protocol for that is 3 to 5 minutes. And probably if you're going super heavy, is to lean more into 5 minutes worth of that, because your ATP PC system needs to reset. And I talked about this a little bit before. That's your adenosine triphosphate, phosphocreatine. That's your intense energy. That is your quick, super fast, intense energy in your muscle structure that, boom, allows you to get that heavy weight up, and it gets depleted like that for maybe like 10 seconds, and it needs time to reset. Yeah. Also, this is going to heavily tax your central nervous system, and that's why everybody hates leg day. Because leg day, you're using the biggest muscle groups in your body, and if you're doing it right, you're doing it heavy, and it is going to tax the hell out of your central nervous system, and that's why you get like a headache. You're completely wiped out after a good leg day. Yeah. After a good upper body day, I don't think you're as wiped out. Well, because also you're not walking out of the gym.
I don't walk on my hands. So like then the sitting down somewhere and suddenly your hammies are like, that's
exactly,
I
like
much
that
more
though.
noticeable.
I'm always trying to learn. The science is not settled. I don't care what these psychopaths in this world say. I borrowed that line from the first time I heard that was like 2010 or something, when we were, I don't know, some stupid quasi-political thing. And the guy got up and said, the science is settled. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. That is the opposite of science.
Yeah.
Who says that? Anyway, I don't want to get down that road, but I'm always trying to learn new things, trying to improve myself, trying to help you guys out more by learning. So I'm always doing research, seeing what works, what makes sense, what may not make sense. And I came across that and I thought, you know what? If that helps regular people form a good, solid routine, because it's easy to remember.
Yeah, use it.
And it's easy to follow along with that. It's not confusing. Then I wanted to share that out there if you'd never heard it. So that's what I got for that. What else you got? Anything?
I figured out where Dane Cook went.
Where'd he go?
So I guess his half-brother stole $12 million from him, and it was like a whole thing. So he backed out of the spotlight at that point, and then heavy backlash, overexposure a lot, and some people just said, like, you know, a lot of people were accusing him of joke theft. So he just kind of stepped back out of the limelight.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff within music and comedy and acting and all that about like proprietary stuff like hooks and melodies and lines and but you know what it comes down to? We're all derivative of everything that came before us. And I saw a thing about an interview with Desmond Child. Do you know who that is? Mm-hmm. If you don't know who Desmond Child is, look him up. He is one of the most prolific songwriters of all the songs you've ever heard in your life. If there's a song that you love from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, he probably either wrote it or co-wrote it. But he had the line, is it never let a good, was it a hook or a melody? It was one or the other, or it might have been both. Never let a good hook or never let a good melody go to waste. And I came to learn some things that I can no longer unhear about some of my favorite songs. For example, I believe Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit, I believe the melody is the same melody from Boston's More Than a Feeling. Mm-hmm. I think if I'm remembering that, those two songs together. And once you hear it, you'll hear it, and you won't be able to unhear it. And also, You Give Love a Bad Name. Yep. He was responsible for the Slippery When Wet album going mega galactic. Desmond Child was responsible for that, bringing in what he brought with Richie and John. But the hook for that came from a song he wrote for Bonnie Raitt. Yeah. Who recorded the song. There's a music video for it, and it was if I were a woman and you were a man, something like that. If I were a woman and you were a man. And she recorded it, and she didn't like it. Yeah. And he's like, all right, I'll take it over here. And it became one of the biggest songs in the history of time that people are still listening to. Yeah. You still hear it at football games and all that kind of stuff. All right. I think that's about it. That's probably a good place to wrap it up. Yeah? Yeah,
yeah, because you got to fix my sound. And if you're going to do your outro, go ahead and mute me now. I'll just look at the dogs. I mean, look at Finney's little toe beans, and they're twitching. I mean, it's amazing. I
can't believe I did that. All right, let's get out of here. All right, thanks for spending time with us today on Balanced Fit Radio. If this conversation resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need it. And I did such a poor job with show prep and everything else today that I don't have a line to leave you with. So I will leave you with this thought. Please pay attention to your electronics when you're recording a podcast, and make sure that your co-host is not on mute for 30 minutes. At least I looked down and saw it at some point. Until we meet again, be capable and resolute and move through this life with a dadgum sense of purpose. Train to be the right kind of dangerous, and remember, your life, your potential. Peace out, homies. See y'all next time. Oh, my God. I can't wait to look at the transcript of my cussing screed. Yeah. Well, that's going to be hilarious.
I was glad I got to get one string in there. I was like, my turn too.